We're diving into the latest and greatest in comms on this edition of the SVG News Sponsor Spotlight. Hey, everybody, I'm Brandon Costa from Sports Video Group. Really happy to be joined by our new friends from Nova Luma. We're joined by their CEO, Jim Casey. Jim, thanks a lot for taking the time. Wonderful to see you, and thanks for being a part of the club.
Happy to be here.
So, tell us about Nova Luma. Mentioned you guys are very active in the comms community. What makes what you guys do in the world of comms unique?
Well, Novolume is the U.S. distributor for Gringo Digital Intercom. We've been the distributor now for 12 years. We work primarily through our network of dealers and resellers to provide Gringo comms to anybody who needs them, whether it's broadcasters or performing arts, events, rentals, sports. We were the first to have a digital intercom system. We were the first to have a LTE based intercom network, and so that's what we do. We're happy to do it and always eager to find new opportunities.
Sure. Yeah. And that Green Go solution's really interesting. Obviously, digital intercom over Ethernet. You don't need any central processors or any of that kind of stuff. That product and anything else that you guys might offer, why are some of the stars of what you guys bring to the table, especially for live sports?
Sure. Well, the big advantage that Gringo has always had is not only was it the first IP-based intercom, but it was the first intercom system that didn't require any kind of central matrix, hub, power supply, anything like that that everybody was used to traditionally with intercom. So it makes it extremely scalable. You only need to buy what you need today, not anticipating what you might need a year from now, 2 years from now. Um, and so, if all you need are two belt packs, you buy two belt packs, plug them into a network, and they're talking to each other. There's no central point of failure or central matrix that has to be licensed with a certain number of channels. Every device has 32 intercom channels, and each device can have its own mix of those 32 channels, whether they're private channels or party line group channels. Um, it also makes it easy to deploy, but it can also be used real easily for a more complex application. So, with the software, which is free to download, you don't even have to own the equipment to download the software.
Mm.
You can start messing around with what you want your configuration to look like. Once you've developed your config, you push it out to the devices. All the devices store all of that information. But they only need to know what their particular function is for that particular show.
Mhm.
If you need to, make changes for a show, you do one event and then you need to get ready for another event that's maybe special, special applications. Then you just, edit your config, push it out to the devices, do that show, but you've still got a copy of the original config. So if you need to go back to that, all you got to do is pull that up, push it out to the devices, and you're back up and running in no time.
Nice.
And like I say, from the simple to the complex. Simple four user config, or four channel config is available right out of the box. But if you've got more complex comms needs, more users. It's very simple to essentially, make the system follow your workflow rather than your workflow following our system.
Yeah, sure. And that kind of democratized nature of it seems to make it really accessible to anyone from small house of worship all the way up to the National Football League. I'm kind
Right.
of curious who are some of the clients that you guys have in particular for our live sports audience that you feel really exemplify what you guys are all capable of doing?
Right. Well, obviously the big one is the NFL.
Mhm.
We've been supplying the comms for the NFL for now 12 seasons.
Oh, wow.
Um, and one of there's a lot of particular needs that the NFL has, especially on the coach side, concerning certain rules that have to be followed, but also making the system friendly to the coaches. because the last thing they need to know about is how do you operate a comm system.
Right.
And because we are able to do scripting on our devices so that we can make the device behave the way the user expects it to, not necessarily the way we want it to. So, for example, with the NFL, the coaches were used to the old Lombardi system
Hmm.
that we replaced. We're able to make those belt packs behave the way the old belt packs did as far as the coaches are concerned, but still have all the features and flexibility that the Gringo system provides. Um, so that's obviously our biggest customer, biggest user. We like I say, we've been doing this for 12 years. We've never had to, swap out wireless for wired, which was a problem with the old system. We've had, 6 nines in terms of reliability. And some of the devices that the NFL uses are the same devices they bought 10 years ago.
Wow.
They've lasted that long, even with the abuse that sometimes we see on TV when the coach gets mad and throws his belt pack down.
Yeah, I was gonna say the teams that have winning records, it probably lasts a little longer. Yeah.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
No, that's really fascinating stuff. Interesting things happening always in the world of comms, which anyone who's worked in a live production knows it's one of the most critical parts of the entire operation behind the scenes.
Right.
Jim, before we let you go, it's always great when we have someone who's a CEO like yourself to kind of get a big picture perspective on maybe what's the key trend that's happening in your segment of the world industry wide that you feel like you and your team are really keeping an eye on for the remainder of 2026 and going on to the future? What's something that you're really keeping an eye on that maybe the audience should be too?
I would say two things. One is remote production. I think that's
Hmm.
become a really big aspect in the broadcast industry is having your control room and all that stuff in one location, but your team is out in the field and everything's coming back. Yeah, so that's something that we're well situated to handle. We've been doing it for years in terms of being able to connect a remote system to a central location through bridging and being allowed and being able to, on the fly, change things if they're necessary, monitor things to make sure that, the way we expect the system to operate is the way the system's operating, troubleshoot remotely. The other thing I think is, the wireless space is getting more and more crowded. Everybody uses DECT or 2.4. We have a DECT system, but DECT in the US is particularly difficult to manage. And so, for the last 5, 6 years, we've offered an LTE solution that operates on private networks, private LTE networks. We introduced a 5G version of that belt pack last year. And that frees up the use of wireless spectrum so that it's more controlled by using a private network, and it's not just for the comms. You've got cameras that can operate on LTE private networks,
Hmm.
other use cases that can make that ROI for a private network, much more realistic.
Absolutely.
And so we kind of led the way with that. And I think that's the direction that a lot of comms are going to go in, especially for larger events or larger productions, is, there's just not enough space
Mm.
in the deck space or the 2.4 space to be able to really achieve that.
And it makes a ton of sense. So he is Jim Casey. He is CEO of Nova Lume. They're now sponsors of SVG, and we're thrilled to have him on board. Jim, thanks so much for taking the time today, and we hope to see you at many SVG events in the future.
Great. Thank you, Brandon.
All right, to learn more about them, you can visit nova-lume, that's Lume.com, to learn more about their Green Go and many other fantastic offerings that they can offer for you on the comm side of live production. And for more videos, including more introductions in the SVG new sponsor spotlight, just head on over to our website at sportsvideo.org. We'll talk to you next time.